At the United Nations Security Council meeting on Wednesday, Russia took heat from America for pretending to want peace in Ukraine while actively pursuing war. The U.S. ambassador to the UN began her comments with an example of Russia's latest supposed gesture for peace and accused Russia's peace plan of being nothing more than an occupation plan.
On Thursday, President Putin issued a last-minute invitation to President Poroshenko to discuss a new Russian-conceived so-called peace plan, a plan that would free Russia from the commitment it made in Minsk to withdraw its fighters and return control over the international border to Ukraine. The plan would seek to legitimize territorial gains made by separatists since September, as well as Russian personnel and military equipment on the territory of Ukraine. We've seen peace plans like this before in Abkhazia, South Ossetia, and Transnistria. When President Poroshenko did not accept Putin's offer, Russia immediately launched a diplomatic and media blitz, claiming it was proof that Ukraine is not interested in peace. Let us pull the veil away from Putin's peace plan and call it for what it is, a Russian occupation plan. We need to implement the peace plans we already have, peace plans Russia has signed and broken. If Russia is serious about peace, it should follow through on Minsk, which it agreed to more than 4 months ago.
When Russia's ambassador to the UN took the floor, he blamed the United States for the current surge in violence in eastern Ukraine.
Over the whole of the Ukrainian crisis, the United States has been playing a destructive role. But you actually have to call a spade a spade. They've been provocative. After every visit of high-ranking US officials to Ukraine, the Kiev government has stepped up the confrontational nature of its activities. And the current military escalation horrifically coincides with the visit to Kiev of the commander of the American forces in Europe. It's surprising that wherever Washington looks, Iraq, Libya, Syria, Ukraine, everywhere, we see destabilization, blood and crisis.
Russian regular army forces have been seen in Ukraine by NATO and Ukrainian forces, and their presence has been confirmed by the U.S. military. In the face of this evidence, Russia continues to deny its troops are present. Ukraine's President Petro Poroshenko recently announced that over 9,000 Russian soldiers are in Ukraine. Ukraine has accused Russia of using so-called humanitarian aid convoys, not to bring aid, but to instead funnel fighters, weapons, and ammunition to insurgents. Ukraine's ambassador to the UN explained.
We draw again the attention of the Security Council to the fact that the illegal armed groups intensify their attacks and shellings after receiving reinforcements from the territory of Russian Federation, including in the form of the Russian so-called humanitarian convoys. We denounce provocative statements by Russian officials who try to shift responsibility for violations onto Ukraine, including those Russian delegations brought today to the Security Council.
While talks at the UN on Ukraine have been numerous, the Council has been deadlocked on the crisis since last spring.